You
Did you
seem
get
to know
the-
what's going on.
The trail mix in here?
It's not in, I think it might be supposed to be delivered to.
Oh, it's here.
Oh, it's here. Never
Yeah.
mind. It's here.
Oh, it's here?
I got it today, yeah.
Perfect.
Oh, okay.
So,
I'll just take it when I get there.
yeah.
Okay.
That's okay.
Yep, that's great.
Just so I get those cards. I was gonna tweak it and around it.
I just don't know if the joint egg should be
Yeah,
back there.
I
so
think I'm
it's-
gonna take the whole picture out and just do, like you said, pet by floors and things like that. And maybe the living room colors. Yeah,
Did you
so just
try-
an iconic.
Did you try
yeah.
one already?
So that's what I'm playing around with, because I wasn't loving it.
Hi.
And so,
I'm good, how are you?
Jen, how are ya?
Good.
I didn't, I'm grinning and nodding, but I should be like you.
I was just letting you know that he did turn them on. So.
Oh, okay, thank you.
I was glad you were back.
So be careful.
Everything nice.
Come by.
I said, Debbie,
That's a minute bashment.
Oh, okay,
I
gotcha.
said, just run down there and see if he's there. 'Cause
Yeah.
I said, I wasn't sure if you were gonna be there. And I said, if he is, get some rest. So she came back with it. I was like, because you were gone like 2 weeks, right?
Yes.
All right, Mike, do we go off with that clock or our phones?
I think your finger in the
Phone's gonna be more accurate. All right, so we're gonna go off our phones. I know, it's really good.
November. Then we take 4 months off.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was happy though.
Good.
Everybody at home, 3 people watching maybe? So it's 6. For anybody wondering, we're going off our phones. So we figured that's more accurate. This one speeds up, give it another week, we'll be a couple minutes ahead, so. We're close. Or we can split the difference, how's that? Alright. Good evening, everybody. We would like to call the Holbrook regular city council meeting to order at 6 p.m. on August 10th, 2023. For roll call, everybody is in attendance, including Manager Sullivan. We have Chief Christensen as well, and Lisa Hunt. We will move on to item number 3. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Councilwoman Pack, and our invocation will be given by Gloria Montoya. Please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you this evening with the City Council meeting, Lord God. Father, Lord, we just lift up each and every member that's here, the council members and the mayor, Lord, acting manager Sullivan and Chief Christensen, and all the people that are coming in that are here, Lord. We ask you to put your hands over the items on the agenda, each and every one. Lord, give them discernment to know the things that they should not have, and the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, Lord, to do the right thing for our city of Holbrook, Lord God, and for all the community, Lord. Father, we lift up each and every, and their families, we lift them all up to, Lord, protection and guidance over them. And Lord, we always give you honor and glory and praises, and we also ask you to pray for our military personnel, our law enforcement officers, and our first responders, Lord. Thank you for all of them that are there to protect our community, Lord God. And give you all honor, glory, and praise, because you, my Lord, is worthy to be praised. And you are God over the community of Holbrook, Arizona. Thank you, my Lord. In your precious name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Gloria. We do appreciate you. All right, moving on to item number 4, consent agenda of the July 27th, 2023 meeting minutes. Hopefully everybody's had a chance to go through them. It is in your packet. Do we have a motion?
I move that we approve the meetings that
Second.
is written.
Do we have a motion and a second? Any concerns or questions on it? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Item number 5, call to the public for non-agenda items. Looks like we have one.
Here's one.
Thank you. It's because I think we cut Lynn off last time, huh? So we'd like to invite Lynn to come on up if you'll say your name. And you will have 3 minutes. And our clerk will give you the time when it's time's up, okay?
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you, Mayor Smith and the members of the council for this opportunity, and ladies and gentlemen. Small problem. First problem is, what is this? You think it's Coke or Pepsi or tea? Well, it's Sun Valley water. And I'm assuming you people have been around longer than I have, not in terms of your age, but in living in Holbrook, and you probably know as much or more about the Sun Valley situation with water. But I dipped this out of the wash machine yesterday morning. I was gonna wash a pair of jeans. And so that's what I had in the wash machine. And what I wanna do is, I'm not thinking I'm telling you anything for information. I wanna just keep that awareness so if opportunity ever comes, so that we can put clothes in the wash machine and know what kind of water, what color they're gonna turn out, that we don't forget about it. Because the city, you did have a grant, I think that's being activated at some point here for a new well and some work, but that's on the north side of I-40, and this is a separate well that serves the south side. And sometimes it doesn't look like, most of the time actually, it doesn't look like this, but often enough that it continues to be a concern in terms of practical things. And if my wife puts white things in the wash machine, she's taking a risk. So I just want to keep the council aware of that in case there's an opportunity sometime for, addressing. I think it's old pipes. It's not necessarily the water from the aquifer, but it's old piping and so on. But that, I didn't doctor that. That's what it was. And so I just want to keep the council aware of it in case there's something that can be done at some point. So appreciate that. And I think I'm under my 3 minutes.
You are. You still have a minute.
Hey, thank you very much. And it is something to be aware of, so I appreciate it.
What's his last name?
All right, item number 6, call to the public for agenda items.
There are none.
There are none. All right, moving on to item number 7, new business. The discussion and possible action in regards to the Travel Centers of America liquor license, officer and ownership changes. And so the council was provided the information there to go through that. We do liquor licenses quite often. Travel centers have been around for a while. We do have a representative here in the audience with us if we have any questions. I'm sure you don't mind if we pick on a few if we need you, but I think it's fairly straightforward. So, give everybody just another chance just to review quickly. We've had a chance to look at it before.
This is just a transfer of ownership, or is it a new one?
I believe it's just a transfer of ownership, is that correct? So that's how I understood it as well. Thank you for that clarification. So it is a transfer, like I said, they've had it, I'm not even sure for how long, I didn't research that, so. All right, with that, is there any questions anybody has for administration or for the travel center?
Where they've been responsible in the past and in their sale of alcohol, I think we should let them have the license.
Appreciate it. All right, any other comments before we take to a motion? All right, we'll open the floor for a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the liquor license transfer for Travel Centers of America.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes, thank you, so. All right, moving on to item number B, probably one of my favorite parts of the night. So as a presentation by Betsy Wilson, Dr. Hazel Baker was unable to make it tonight from Northland Pioneer College, but NPC is well represented with Ms. Wilson here. But we'll turn the time over to you.
Thank you. It's good to be back with you all, Mayor and Council, and thanks for having me to your meeting tonight. I like to come along once in a while and let you all know what's going on at Northland Pioneer College, the college in general, and also what's happening here at our Painted Desert campus in Holbrook. I'm the executive director of NPC Friends and Family, which is the college's nonprofit foundation, and our primary function is to help raise scholarship dollars for students to help them attend NPC. And I also do work for the college in terms of development. But I provide an overall report about the college, and then I'll share some updates on what's going on with NPC Friends and Family as well. So since I haven't been here since May, I wanted to report on commencement, which actually has taken place for the second year in a row here at the Roadrunner Stadium at the high school, which is a beautiful venue. We had it on Saturday, May 13th, and 62 NPC graduates received transfer degrees to go on to university. And of those degrees, 36 Associate of Arts were conferred, and 2 earned their Associate of Arts in early childhood. Another 4 in elementary education, and then 5 students took home an Associate of Business degree, which will allow them to transfer to university business programs. 12 graduates received an Associate of Science, and the Associate of General Studies was conferred on 9 graduates. So those are students that are going to be transferring to university programs. 95 graduates were recipients of the Associate of Applied Science degree, which is a degree that leads into direct-to-work programs, what we used to call vocational education, and now we call CTE, or career and technical education. And 266 students earned certificates of proficiency, and these are shorter programs, not a full degree program, that also lead into employment opportunities. We had 37 students graduate from our Fire Science Academy, which is located at the Northern Arizona Training Center down outside of Taylor on Paper Mill Road. We had 31 nursing students get pinned and receive their nursing credentials. There were 8 at the Little Colorado campus in Winslow and 23 at the White Mountain campus in Show Low. 46 students completed welding certification. We have 3 programs for welding, one located here at the Skills Center at the Painted Desert campus, one at the White Mountain campus, and one in St. John's. And the students that graduate from that program are almost 100% employed right away, so it's pretty exciting. They have a completer ceremony prior to the actual commencement, and at that completer ceremony, there are businesses that come and set up recruiting tables, and they have sort of a career fair afterward, and students actually get hired right off of that opportunity in a lot of cases. We had 8 completers in the EMT and Certified Emergency Paramedic program down in the White Mountain campus. So we had a really good commencement, and we are excited with the new academic season starting on August 21st. We have faculty and staff back on Monday, and students starting August 21st, that we have some new programs. And first and foremost, which is a real new thing for Northland Pioneer College, we have a bachelor's degree. So you'll recall a couple of years ago, the state legislature passed certification for community colleges to offer bachelor's degrees, and there are some provisions in there. You have to apply for the bachelor's degrees that you want to offer, and you have to show that there's a real reason, a real need for them in your area, and that they're not going to compete with similar university programs. But what we settled on first and foremost was a Bachelor of Applied Science in Early Childhood Education. And there's a critical need, as you well know, for educators across Navajo and Apache counties. And many of our students can't just pull up trailer pegs and move on down to ASU or U of A to get a degree in elementary education. So early childhood education has 2 tracks. If you do a Bachelor of Applied Science in Early Childhood Education, you can work in the Head Start kind of setting where you're working with birth to 5 years, or you can teach from kindergarten through 3rd grade. And the next step is looking at a program in elementary education that will allow students to teach in upper grades. This program just received provisional accreditation from the Higher Learning Commission, which is our accrediting body. So we will be enrolling students in the actual program in the spring, working towards the Bachelor of Applied Science, but we have a number of them right now in what's called the Bridge program. So if they've done their associate degree, then there's a few prerequisite classes that bridge into the Bachelor of Applied Science, and they'll matriculate into that. NPC Friends and Family is going to be providing $8,000 in scholarships for the first year for students who need the money, who can show financial need and academic ability, because we know that with provisional certification, those students aren't yet eligible to apply for financial aid, even though a lot of them will need it. So we have some really great supporters that came out and donated to fund those scholarships and help them through that first year. It was, our first accreditation visit was extremely well received, and we are really confident that it's going to receive full accreditation within a year's time. We also have 3 new career and technical education programs for the fall, and these are all in response to community and needs that were communicated through the workforce. The first is an associate degree in the administration of criminal justice, and this allows law enforcement officers to complete their associate degrees. And the idea is that it will allow them to continue on to 4-year degrees that articulate with criminal justice programs, for example, at Northern Arizona University. We have a new associate degree in behavioral health studies, and this combines mental health and substance abuse counseling and social work. So this is the first step in a program that ladders into other programs in behavioral health. So graduates will have the ability to test for certified behavioral health technician, which is a new certification for the state of Arizona, and also serve as what's called peer support coordinators for mental health aides. And so this program is new. We also have an associate degree in physical health and performance. This is located at primarily our Silver Creek and Painted Desert campuses, and it's offering certification in personal training and rehabilitation. There are opportunities for MPC possibly to partner with the city at the municipal gym for this, because it's just starting out, to maybe hold classes and provide opportunities to practice personal training. And the certificate program is available here at Painted Desert campus in live and hybrid formats, so there's some in-person and some online training. And there are multiple instructors, including Morgan Black, who's from Holbrook, and is a Holbrook physical therapist and also a past NPC outstanding graduate. He's come back to teach for us. And Morgan's focus is going to be on the rehabilitation side of this. The other 2 instructors focus on personal training. And then this is also a program in our NAVIT, Northern Arizona Vocational Institute of Technology program. And then we have an associate degree in computer information systems that's now available in person at the Painted Desert campus. So this isn't a new program, but it includes certification in specialty areas that include cybersecurity and software and web development, and it's taught here at Painted Desert campus in the Big Skills Center. The Law Enforcement Academy has begun at the Northern Arizona Training Center, and I understand it also includes 1 recruit from Holbrook PD this year. And the NAVIT programs that we are offering through Holbrook High School include construction technology, welding, computer information systems, medical assisting, certified nursing assisting, and then cosmetology and CNA are also in Winslow and include some Holbrook students that go up there. So we also have students that are taking part in a program with Arizona State University called My Path to ASU, and students that get involved with this are provided with a seamless transfer experience. So as they pursue their bachelor's degree, through the partnership, they get personalized advising with both ASU and NAU to help them navigate the transfer experience. So it guarantees them admission to the major of their choice when they complete this program at MPC. And then it gives them customized course-by-course pathways to minimize any loss of credit when they make the transfer. So they're actually transferring pretty much by credit as a junior. And it gives them the ability to save time and money by doing their first 2 years at a community college and then make that transition when they're a little bit more, I think, older and more mature. My kids did a similar program with NAU. They graduated with NPC 2 years ago, and they're graduating from, I hope, graduating this May from NAU. We're also partnering with a nonprofit organization called Earn to Learn, which provides students with scholarships of up to $8,000 a year toward their associate degree programs. This is a pretty intensive program. If students choose to participate, they have to commit to attending a certain number of hours with a peer supporter that mentors them in areas such as money management, saving for college, and staying debt-free. Earn to Learn is a nonprofit whose goal, they started about 8 years ago, and their goal is to raise money to help students fund a college education without going into debt, without taking out loans. And so this is the first time they've really partnered with community colleges. They've always been in partnership with universities, and so we're working with them this year, and we're gonna report back and let you know how the students that are doing that program are faring with saving for college. NPC Friends and Family is pleased to announce that we will have our 10th annual live Pedal the Petrified on Saturday, September 30th, and your own vice mayor is registered to ride in it. This is a wonderful fundraiser that we've had for a number of years in partnership with Petrified Forest National Park, It's not a race, it's a non-competitive ride, and riders come from all over the Southwest. In fact, we have riders from all over the nation. We've had riders from Alaska, we've had riders from Connecticut and Illinois. And they come to choose one of two opportunities. They can ride a full circuit of the park, where we start at the north end, ride down to Rainbow Forest and back, taking in the Blue Mesa Spur, and that's 100 kilometers or about 62 miles. And then riders that don't want to ride that far can opt to ride to Rainbow Forest and be shuttled back to their cars at the ride start. So we're excited about hosting this. This is our last year's t-shirt. I haven't ordered them for this year yet, but we are fully registered with 250 riders. That's our capacity. And I have a wait list of 25, and I actually closed the wait list because I don't usually have 25 cancellations. I am really pleased to thank Joe Duran and family of the Baymont Inn and Z over at the Super 8, because they not only provide sponsorships for the riders, and then we promote those hotels to the riders as places to stay, but they were so enthusiastic about it. They said, can you bring banners, and we'll hang banners up, and they're gonna start their breakfast early on ride day, which is a super help to the riders because they have to be out at the ride start at 7 a.m. So we're just really excited. This is our kind of premier fundraiser and friendraiser every year. And so where does the scholarship money go? Well, when we started NPC Friends and Family by reorganizing the NPC Foundation back in 2014, we had about 7 scholarships, and we awarded about 15 a year. In this past academic year, 22-23, we have awarded $197,000 in scholarships, which is up almost $70,000 from the previous year. And we have now a little over 30 scholarships, and applications for the spring 2024 semester will open on October 1st and run through November 18th. We do this every year, where we open the application window and make the awards the semester prior to when they're used. And this way, when students get their letter of award, they know prior to semester registration that they have that funding coming once they register. And this can help them plan, maybe to take that course with more expensive fees or more expensive books or something like that, if they know they have that money coming. Most of our scholarships are $1,000 per semester. And we also have a unique opportunity to provide Native American students who travel distances to come to campus for classes with something called the Andy Vaughn Transportation Grant. And this is provided by an anonymous couple that kind of found NPC in an interesting way and learned that one of the biggest challenges our students, especially on the reservations, face is travel. So for this scholarship to be awarded, students have to apply who are traveling more than 30 miles one way from a reservation community to an off-reservation. Although we've awarded it to students that were traveling, for example, from our Kayantis Center up in Monument Valley to Hopi, where there's a chemistry lab, because that's way more than 30 miles. And most of the students awarded are traveling 600 and 700 miles a week, if you can believe that. And it's turned out to be a wonderful success. One of our first recipients of that was a young lady that lived up in Leachy, up by Page, and was traveling 2 days a week to Winslow for her chemistry classes and biology classes. She graduated last May and has just completed her first year at the University of Arizona in biochemical engineering. So we're super happy about the opportunity to be able to help these students not only with academic costs but also with travel. So that kind of concludes my presentation for tonight. I'd like to come back and tell you how these students are doing in the spring semester, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. We are truly blessed to have Northern Pioneer College in our community, and we appreciate everything you do. I know you're an asset to the students at Holbrook High School that I associate with, along with all the community members, so we appreciate you. And it's amazing what you have done with the Friends for Family thing. It's just, I don't know what they're gonna do without her. I really don't.
It's an honor. I really appreciate the opportunity to do it. So thank you very much, and thanks for the time tonight.
Thank you.
Betsy, I have one question. Does NPC participate in any kind of foreign exchange program?
No, we don't. We have students that come sometimes from overseas and typically we get them from the high school, so they come to participate in a high school foreign exchange program, and they'll take classes through our NAVIT or dual enrollment, but we don't really have any programs at the college itself.
Okay.
What was that second hotel you said that was going to
The
help?
Baymont and the Super 8.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions, comments? All right, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
tonight, we do appreciate it.
Thanks.
So. All right, moving on to item number C, proclamation of General Aviation Month. Brought my reading glasses in case I needed them, because I know Mike's I still need yours, so. All right. General Aviation Appreciation Month. Whereas Holbrook in the state of Arizona has a significant interest in the continued vitality of general aviation, aircraft manufacturing, aviation, educational institutions, aviation organizations, and community airports. And whereas general aviation and the Holbrook Municipal Airport have a significant economic impact on the city of Holbrook. And whereas the 2021 Arizona Aviation Economic Impact Study found that the general aviation airports in the state support an annual economic impact of $3.3 billion. In addition, state airports overall support more than 386,000 jobs and a total payroll of over $20.4 billion. And whereas, according to the FAA, the state has 78 general aviation airports. These airports serve more than 26,000 pilots and 7,800 registered aircraft. And whereas, according to the FAA, the state is home to 155 repair stations, 24 FAA-approved pilot schools, almost 8,000 student pilots, and almost 5,000 flight instructors. And whereas, general aviation not only supports Arizona's economy, it improves overall quality of life by supporting emergency medical and healthcare services, law enforcement, firefighting, and disaster relief, investments in sustainable fuels and technologies, and investments in innovative experimental technology like vertical takeoff and landing vehicles, and by transporting business travelers to their destination quickly and safely. And whereas the United States faces a shortage of aviation professionals, leaders should invest in this critical infrastructure to ensure future economic growth and our next generation of aviation professionals. Now therefore, I, Kathleen Smith, Mayor of the City of Holbrook, do hereby proclaim August 2023 a General Aviation Appreciation Month. So, and we are blessed to have an airport in our own town, so.
And I think the majority of that 3.3 billion is the Sky Harbor.
Oh, I'm sure. All right. Sorry. All right. Item number D, resolution 23-08, amending fees for commercial and non-commercial public records requests. So I will read by heading and then just the highlights. Resolution 23-08, a resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Holbrook, Navajo County, Arizona, amending the fees for obtaining public records for commercial and non-commercial uses in the city of Holbrook. So section 1 says the following fees shall be charged and collected for non-commercial requests. A, email documents produced via email and readily available, no cost per page. B, emailed reports more than 20 pages, $10. C, hard copies of the routine records and reports, $10 each up to 20 pages and a 25-cent page after. D, audio CDs, DVDs, $15 each. Video, body camera, DVD, $25 each. Section 2, the following fees shall be charged and collected for commercial requests. A, the value of reproduction of the commercial market is best determined by the public body. B, a reasonable fee for the cost of time, materials, equipment, and personnel in producing such reproduction. And C, a portion of the cost for obtaining original copies of documents, printouts, or photographs as per ARS 39-121.03D. Manager Sullivan, do you have anything to add?
No, just real quick, these are updating fees that we haven't increased since 2003. Nate was working with Manager Solstice before he left, reached out to, I don't know, 20 different agencies, several agencies, and came up with this pricing to get in line with everybody else. As well, when I pulled that information, we were looking at what we charged at City Hall, and we were completely different. So I figured this would just clean all that up, and we do public information requests across the board, and we'll be all equal, same.
All right, thank you. Any questions? Yes.
I do the fees for commercial, are they gonna be significantly different? I mean, here it's 25 cents a page or $10 for emailed. So if I was a commercial entity, would cost me different if I wanted your body cam if I'm an individual, cost $25, what would that cost me if I were a business?
It's the same.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Okay, I just
basically the
didn't-
same.
I just didn't read that into that.
It was written separately in the original resolution for this, and so that is basically staying the same. And it's, I don't know if I've ever had a commercial one come in.
We get
anyways, but-
commercial requests from like colleges and reporters, for certain things. Generally, depending on what it is, we don't really overcharge. But if they're asking for 100 reports, you know, and it's $5 a report right now, so we're gonna charge them $500, sometimes we'll just say, okay, well, I've researched these, this is how long it took me, pay us $200 and we'll send you the reports.
Okay.
Something to that effect. But sometimes if it's readily available and we don't have to do any redaction, then like an emailed report, we'll just give it to them.
Okay.
So these are the new fees, what are the fees that are in place right now? What is the difference between them and how low?
Well, oh yeah, Chief's got some, but for City Hall, we were at $10 for audio, CDs, DVDs, and now we're asking for 15. And then with the body stuff, Chief was asking for 25. Hard copies of routine records, basically the same, 25 cents. Emails, were no charge. And then, we charge $7.50 an hour to pull documents, anything else after that, so. We're, to align with the police department, we're basically just, adding another $2.50 to that $7.50 to align with Chief.
All right, Councilman Dixon?
So, this is gonna be something that's citywide, is that correct, Randy?
Yes.
These fees are gonna be citywide, not just applicable to the police
Yes,
department?
that-
So
yeah.
if somebody wants camera footage from, say, the transfer site or the site out here,
Yeah.
or any of our cameras throughout the city,
Yeah,
these
so-
fees will apply to
Yeah,
that.
so if it applies to, City Hall or anything that we would have, that's what we would be able to charge these. If it was a police matter, it would go to,
Sure.
Chief Christensen, and then Chief would be able to.
Right. So you said that to get in line with everyone else, I mean, we need to analyze what our costs are for doing the research and
Yeah.
copying and everything else. I mean, I don't care what Winslow does.
Yeah.
But whatever it costs the PD for, say, a 50-page report and some DVDs, are we accurately covering the costs of production and the time that it takes to research those things?
Definitely, so each report has to be redacted. Some reports can be redacted quickly and easily, so it doesn't require much time, but you take a video, for instance, that has to be redacted, it redacts per frame. You have a 20-minute video, it could take you 9 hours to redact that video. And if you look at what you're paying your records clerk, you know, $15 an hour or whatever, to do that, and that's just one request, that's not all the requests that she handles on a daily basis. And so, right now, we don't even charge a difference for the body camera footage, it's still $5. But it's such a painstaking task that we decided to look at some of the other agencies are doing. For instance, Coconino County charges $85 for a disc, and we're charging $25.
Does this take into, I'm not seeing, maybe I missed it, where it taken into account the time that it does, like you mentioned an example of 9 hours of redacting. Is that reflected in here as
No.
far as time?
No, we don't have a, because since most of our stuff is digital, we don't really have like a research time. Next year, at the end of 2025, all of our records will be digitized, and so we won't have like a research fee to go into the file room to actually go through files. I haven't done a study to see exactly how long. Those were just estimates from her on how long it takes to do a 20-minute video. she said it was an average of about 8 hours.
Okay, and this is something that we can update later if you discover that it costs more to do, when you're doing the redactions of a video or whatever it costs. If it's more, please come back to us, so we can update this.
Correct.
Randy, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the whole point in this is, at least trying to recoup some of our costs, of clerks or whatever, to research the information. So at least, it's not gonna cover it all, but I don't think we're gonna be losing money.
Hopefully it should equal out between the short documents, right? But if, like Councilman Dixon said, if it doesn't, we would like to readdress it.
Yeah, we definitely will.
Any other questions or comments?
Where currently there is not a research fee,
There's a $20 research fee
there
right
is
now
a $20 research fee.
per hour. That's what we currently have. We didn't add that to the new one though.
Are you going to, is that gonna stay in place?
No, because like I said, within a year, we're gonna be completely digitized, and so there's really gonna be no need for her to go and actually open file drawers and look for some file that may have been misfiled.
That's not gonna affect it if someone's wanting a report from 15 years ago, everything's gonna be digital?
Right, so we went digital, I believe, in, I wanna say 1999 is when they did RIMS, you might remember, Tim.
Yeah.
About 99, 2000, we went to RIMS. So we have to, by law, we have to keep all records for 25 years. There's some that are 99, there's some that are forever. Now some of those, like a homicide for instance, it'll be digitized, but all the other stuff, the attachments won't be. So in a case like that, we might have to go and pull a few things and make a copy and add it to the report or whatever. Our new system allows us to upload a lot of that stuff now, so it's all readily available. We just have to cut and paste and turn it into a PDF and then redact it.
I just know how long records, requests take when they're old, and that research fee definitely helps out,
Right.
even if it's digital.
And we don't get, we don't get a lot of requests for, historical records, but we get enough. I mean, I'm still getting reports, people come in and want stuff from, 94 and 95, oftentimes we don't have them. Sometimes we still do have them because the records room is not accurate, my records clerk is trying to get to that. But for a small agency, we get a lot of records requests. So if we do have the records still, even after the 25-year, by law, we're required to get it, so we will, but we're trying to get down to where we're compliant with the records retention laws of Arizona to where, like I said, January 1st of 2025, we're gonna be in that 25-year period and everything will be is digitized at that point.
Okay.
And we won't have any paper records except for the sex crimes and active cases and things like that we have to hold for longer than that 25 years.
All right, thank you. All right, I will open the table for a motion.
I move that we adopt resolution 23-08.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
No? All right, any last minute questions, discussions? Hearing none, resolutions, are they roll call or just?
Yes, I'm sorry, they are. Councilmember Black,
Aye.
Councilmember Dixon,
Aye.
Councilmember Nielsen,
Aye.
Councilmember Pacheco,
Aye.
Councilmember Pack,
Aye.
and Mayor Smith.
Aye.
Councilmember Tafoya.
Aye.
All right,
Sorry
thank
about
you.
that.
All right, motion passes, thank you. All right, moving on to item E, discussion possible action of the public participation policy. As a reminder, this policy by law needs to be approved by council for the general plan moving forward. If you look at your item, tab number 5, it just says the city needs to update the general plan, and to do so it needs to get public input engagement for a more comprehensive plan. And so, hopefully everybody had a chance to go through it. Looks like, so it goes through and hits all the different, the general plan itself by the Arizona Revised Statute requires certain organizations be involved, and this public policy should be able to hit all of those factors. Does anybody have any questions about the plan? Okay, Hearing none, we'll take a motion, open a motion.
Motion for what?
Sorry, to approve the public participation policy. We have a motion to approve the public participation policy. We have a second. Any questions, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Item F, discussion possible action on manager selection plan. The last city council meeting, we had asked staff to create a manager's, like a timeline, to figure out the steps needed to look into the hiring of a full-time manager. And so, Manager Sullivan put together this, and he understands that this timeline, there's some factors that can come into play, so any timeline we do approve tonight, we understand that there's a good chance we're gonna have to modify as we go. And, but hopefully everybody's had a chance to look through it. Is there any questions or comments, discussion? Yes, Councilman Dixon.
So the first item on that list is create a city strategic plan and mission statement. I think that should not be part of the management selection plan. It should be somewhere else. The second part of that is bring to council options for a search firm and utilize other options to create manager profile. I'm not sure exactly what that latter part means, other options to create a manager profile. In the past, we have used search firms, agencies, and I really think that is a good idea. It relieves us of a huge burden of trying to do all the backgrounds and make sure that whatever, let's say they provide their master's degree certification, a search firm will contact those universities and do all the background, make sure everything is legitimate. That's not something that we should be doing. Create a city manager profile and advertise for application, that's fine. But again, the search firm would be doing that in conjunction with staff here and the city attorney. Supply council with a pool of candidates to select for interviews. The selection should be no more than 5. That's fine. We've done that in the past. The part after that, the set interview process and dates with council, and in parentheses it says may include city employees and community. So the interview process should be done in executive session. We don't invite other employees or community to participate in that interview process. It's something that's like I said, done in executive session. Council final selection, that's fine, and the target dates I have no problem with. New manager offer negotiations, manager contract agreement starts in April. Those dates are all fine. And of course, this needs to be fluid. But the main thing I have is that the set interview process and dates with council, again, it should be an executive session. And we've done that. Mike has been involved in that, Mike and I. We just take a Saturday, all day Saturday, and go through, interview each candidate, go through their applications, their resumes, and of course we get those in advance, and there are something that needs to be not out in the public until we're done with our process for various reasons. But also I think hiring a search firm, whoever that is paramount in this. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you for your comments. So I'll go ahead.
So if we do a search firm, would that automatically exclude anybody else that wants to apply for the position?
No, in fact,
Or how does it-
Jason was working for the city at the time, and he applied, and he was one of the final 5.
On the search, okay.
Right. Anybody can put in for that, anybody who's qualified,
I
and
see.
then the search firm will narrow that down. Let's say they have 50 applicants. They narrow that down to 5. We just can't, we as a body
Right.
can't do 50 applicants. So.
Agree with that. So my thoughts on this, we've discussed it as a council a little bit, just to create a city strategic plan and mission statement. It's my opinion that as we look for a full-time manager, that we want to make sure we know what our priorities are in our strategic plan. That way, if we're looking for somebody that's strong in public works, we go with somebody that has experience there. If we're looking for somebody strong in finances, we go after those, and then we can tell the search firm we're doing. So I think it's important for us to know what we want instead of have a outside firm telling us what we want. And so that way it'll give us better direction. And I believe, to clarify for Councilman Dixon, when we had talked to administration last week, and maybe Manager Sullivan can clarify, but I took it, when I said bring to council options for a search firm or utilize other options, that's because we mentioned that the League of Cities and Towns offered some assistance for free of charge. And we thought maybe an option there is like, let's see what they can do for us first before we spend how much money. And so, depending on the direction of the council, me personally, I would like to see what the league could do for no cost, and try to save whatever money we can and put it into our streets or whatever other projects we have. That's just my opinion on that. And then I think for that set interview process and dates with the council, there could be some clarification maybe on that, but I'm not sure why you put it there, but I know in the last manager search, there was a community like open house where we were able to meet the candidates, and I know the employees were able to go discuss, so maybe that just needs to be broken up on a different line item and not necessarily part of the interview process, but we do want to make sure the manager's a good fit with our staff and the community. And so, not that the community had a major say in it or a vote in it, but we want to give them an opportunity to meet the candidates. I appreciated that opportunity to meet the 5 candidates that were there, so. Am I correct in that assumption?
Yeah, I remember when we were doing the search for Manager Solstice, we sat up there and we interviewed the candidates as a city employee.
Was it the department heads?
All the department heads sat up there and interviewed. Part of the search firm suggested that as well. We also, as department heads, after that interview, recommended the candidate that we wanted and gave that to the council as well. So the department heads last time were involved with it. I don't know how extent after closed doors with you guys, but we did do interviews. If that's up to you guys, if you guys are wanting that. So these were just some suggestions from last time in that last search, and this is kind of what the flow was that Slavin management group provided.
Thank you. Councilwoman Pacheco.
I think some of these decisions, some of these actions that we have set that are set here for options is Manager Sullivan going to throw his name in the hat? Because if so, will that change some of the outcomes to how these are setting? Just that there's no bias, there's no leniency on one, or, I mean, you want the best for the town. We all want what's best for Holbrook. Not saying that he's not, or anybody else is or is not, but that way it's fair across the board that nobody in the community can say, oh, well, they went this way because of that. That way that's out of the question.
And I believe that's why the attorney said he wanted to keep, involved in the process. And so, in the end, it's really our decision on how we want to direct it. I understand your concerns, and I think we do put safeguards in place where we can, to make sure. In the end, it's our decision as a council what the process is, and if we feel comfortable that we've got a process in place that we can live with, then I think we should be fine with that decision. I'm not expressing that real well, but so. Did you guys have any comments or?
I'm kind of unclear what you're saying or asking.
So if Manager Sullivan says, yes, I decide I want to run for it as well, is that going to taint the selection process if he's part of the process of having to select candidates with a search firm or with the league, just so there's no gray area of like, oh, I want to, like this one could be.
Yeah, I have some input on that.
That's where I just want to make sure that it's clear that there's no issues, so that later on somebody can't say, oh, well, so-and-so is better qualified and they didn't go there because he's working for the city and he's already in that position, just that it can't come back.
Go ahead.
And that's why if Randy did put in for it, he would have to recuse himself from any process. And the city attorney would pick that up. And that's why it's very important for us to hire a firm that would manage that for us, and it actually would leave Randy a little bit more out of the process. So, and just for clarification on the create a strategic plan and mission statement, we don't need to do that to decide what we want in a city manager. We can, you know, again, the strategic plan needs to be done. It's a separate issue, and, you know, we can work on it as we do whatever else we do. But as far as being part of the management selection plan, I don't see its place of relevance in this plan.
And to
So-
clarify, I don't believe we need to have a final strategic plan in place to do that, but I would like a few more discussions as a council, at least to see, we've never had a good chance with us seven anyways, to see really where everybody lands on, hey, where does historic preservation land with everybody, where do Parks and Rec, where does, you know, cemetery land, at least get a little bit of a feel, and I don't think this needs to be a long process, like these, a couple of work sessions, I think would give us at least a decent feel where we're at, and like you said, we can create that strategic plan later on.
Sure, so you wanna
So-
just kind of change that verbiage,
Yeah, I can do that.
kind of strike city's strategic plan and just say,
Strategic planning, or,
you know, or a city manager, action plan or whatever.
So basically what we want in a city manager.
well, like, Vice Mayor Nelson mentioned at the last meeting, you guys were able to express, or can you explain again what you guys did as a council, the survey that you were given?
Right, so there were different challenges to the city at the time than there are now. And so we said we wanted someone who could help us financially and help us take care of some things. And we expressed it, and the firm included that in their search, right? And so now our priorities are different. And so we need to express clearly to them that this is what we're interested in. We need somebody maybe that has strong, I don't know, community involvement or whatever it is, whatever those things are that we decide, we need to let them know, because it's ultimately our decision, and we don't want to have them bring us 5 people that are totally wrong.
Lisa, would you be able to track down that old survey from 5 years ago?
I can attempt to.
Do you mind doing that? Is that okay with everybody for her to see if she can find that?
You can redact that.
So, if it was digitized.
How much you gonna charge?
Yeah, exactly. So, does that come out of the council budget? So, all right. Is everybody kind of comfortable with that?
I just want transparency so that there's,
Yes.
nothing comes back, like, ad rumors,
So,
comments, posts coming back. That way it's out there.
So let's do that, and if we need to reevaluate, that's the nice thing, that we can always come back and say, okay, this isn't working, let's, you know, like Councilman Dixon said, this is gonna be a fluid document. And so, I'm comfortable with that. So if we change that first line to, maybe, I'm not a wordsmith. Say,
Manager,
identify council
qualities, qualities.
priorities and
Manager
qualities.
Yeah.
Okay, identify council priorities and manager qualities. Does that work with everyone?
Yes.
I would, for the time being, still like to keep in line number 2 with the search firm and the or utilize other options. We may find out it's not what we need, but I'd at least like to see what they have to offer.
Well, the other thing there is that, when you get something for free, you usually get what you pay for. And I'm not trying to bash the league or anything, but how much are they gonna do something that a paid consulting firm or a search firm will do for us?
Well, how about we do this? How about we, see if we can get with them in the, you know, ASAP?
Sure.
To see what they can offer that way.
Yeah.
We can at least have it on the table, and then it's
Sure.
easy to make a decision right away.
Sure.
So, let me see if I can, work with Lisa again to reach out to the league. Is that okay? And I'll work with you and get you the contacts, and see what they can offer. Is
And
there
can you
anything-
also, excuse me,
Go
get
no.
costs of other firms, what it would cost us if we
That one
hired
might be
this
a-
firm and this firm, or, you know, just a few options of different firms?
I'll bring that out.
Yeah.
Hopefully, get some information by the next council meeting.
Okay,
Yeah.
at least get us some approximate, it won't be official bids,
Right,
but
but-
some,
That's an
Yeah,
option.
I'd like to
Just
get three to five, firms that can give us,
Yeah, that's what we discussed last time was, at least, well, we come up with the three, the free one and then two cost ones.
I'm sorry, what the free one you're talking about?
The
The
free
league.
would be the league.
So the league plus two, are you saying you want more than two
Yeah,
options?
I'm not really counting the league in any of that. I think three of the paid firms, at least three of the paid firms would be reasonable.
At least three paid?
Yes, 3 to 5.
Okay. All right, is everybody comfortable with the rest?
And I think the league has a list of
We have
these
lists.
firms
I think
that
we do.
that do this.
Yeah, I have a list of some
Yes.
too.
So it's okay to ask him even though it's free.
They don't mind, huh? So, because the people, it's not actually staff doing it, it's, kind of representatives, cause they have like their own go-to kind of people that live, or work out in the field, and that do kind of a per diem, not per diem, but a, what is the word I'm looking for? They're just a free service, basically. So it's not actually pro bono, thank you, pro bono, and but it's not staff itself, so, as I understand it, hopefully I'm not wrong, so. All right, any other discussion?
I
Oh.
just don't want costs to get in the way. I mean, of course, we don't wanna spend $1 million on this. I don't want costs to get in the way of us making a good, educated decision on this. This is a very important position.
All right, thank you. All right. All right, we don't have any other discussion on there. Do we have a motion for the approval of this, selection plan with the modifications that were made?
I move that we approve the manager selection plan with the modifications.
Second.
Thank you. Any last
Yeah,
discussion?
Is this something that we need to have a motion on and approve, or is this something that we wanna kind of work on, or do you wanna,
Yeah,
I don't know,
good
is
question.
it something that we need to approve?
Just
Yeah.
an idea.
Well, that's a good Lisa question. What do you think, Lisa?
To approve this plan,
Does it need to be?
Well, I think that was what was asked to be brought to this meeting for approval, like a plan of action.
Plan of action.
Well, I think we need to do it to go forward.
That
I think
keeps
it
us-
will hurt for us to approve it.
That keeps us accountable, right? So, all right, so do we have a motion and a second? Any other comments? All right, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes, thank you. All right, moving on to item 8, summary of current events. We want to, send our condolences to the Budenholzer family. Libby Budenholzer passed away on Monday. And, so the Budenholzer family has been, has left a lasting impression here in Holbrook. And they've got, their namesakes here and there throughout town. And, I found a fun statistic that said Libby and Vince were married for 70 years. I believe she was 91 when she passed away, so. And another fun fact about Libby Budenholzer, she actually served as a councilwoman and then as mayor of Holbrook. And so she was also appointed by Governor Bruce Babbitt to the Arizona Women's Commission, and her husband Vince became an Arizona Hall of Fame basketball coach, so it's quite the family, so we send our condolences to their family. I wanna give a big shout out and thanks to Darlene and Terry Brinkerhoff, who painted the museum out at the Petroglyph Park out at the golf course. It's amazing what a fresh coat of paint does. I know Kip Wolford jumped in and helped them too, make a run to Home Depot to get more paint, but we do appreciate their efforts, and Darlene does a lot of good work for us out there and going above and beyond to do the painting out there too, so we appreciate that. And then just as a topic out there in Holbrook, unfortunately, we will be losing Summit Healthcare and the physical therapy office come September 6th. Summit did reach out to me the day they were notified, the staff, wanted to let us know that they were sad to leave, but financially it they were just losing too much money on that particular clinic. They said they do still own land here in Holbrook and would love to come back to Holbrook. And so it's always a sad day when we lose any kind of organization, especially healthcare in our town. We are thankful that we still have North Country, and hopefully that we can still support them so we don't lose them as well. But this is a reminder to us as a council that the impact that economic growth has, and as we go through our general plan and strategic plan, and I know I've had people reach out to me like, what can the city do about it? Unfortunately, they are private entities and there's not a lot we can do, but we can do our best to make sure we're doing what we can to bring economic growth to our city, and that way we can foster good relationships with any organization come to town, and hopefully we will get them back. So, and that is all I have. So I will turn the time over to Vice Mayor Nielsen.
Oh, I was gonna bring up the summit thing too, that kind of breaks my heart. On October 12th, there's gonna be a senior health fair at the senior center. There's gonna be 8 tables from the county, North Country, diabetes, different things. So if you're over 50 years old, you're invited to attend. And
You just made me feel old. I hit 50 this year. I'm part of the senior citizen group.
well,
Sorry.
and we're gonna be there's gonna be people to help with a lot of problems, bone density, diabetes, and different things. Also on November 4th, there's gonna be a bingo and auction for the food bank. The food bank, Holbrook Emergency Food Bank, spends $10,000 every year to provide boxes for families at Christmas. And so this particular bingo and auction will be to help raise money for those Christmas boxes.
And where will that be?
It will be at the senior center
At
as
the
well,
senior, okay.
on November 4th. And Bill Jeffers, if you ever been to an event that he hosts, he's about as much fun as there is.
It's, all right, thank you, and I'm sure you'll keep reminding us.
I will.
Yeah, that's great. No, we appreciate that. Councilman Black.
I've got nothing.
Councilwoman Pat.
I'm glad that we got some rain, and I'm glad that school has started.
Spoken like a parent there, huh? All right, Councilman Dixon.
Yeah, I attended the rap concert down here at the old courthouse last weekend, and it was a really good deal, very spiritual thing, with they have roots here. One of the singers there had roots with the Strahans, and they travel around the Southwest and the country doing their tours and their concerts, and it was a good thing, a very family-oriented thing that was very good. And I also, Mayor, that I have an email from you to Ted from last July 5th. It says, I have asked Randy Sullivan as our finance director to lead us in the budget work session for July 13th. He said he was willing to do that for us. And I think this kind of flies in the face of the Charter, Article 3, Section 3.07, non-interference with administrative service. The council and its members shall deal with the administrative services of the city only through the manager, except for the purpose of inquiry, investigation, or report. And I know that Ted had submitted his resignation by then, but he was still city manager at the time. So we need to be very careful to deal with the employees of the city through the city manager, and not just going directly to them, asking them to do something. Again, if we're inquiring about something or an investigation or a report, that we can talk to anyone in the city. But when we ask someone to do something, then that's a violation of the charter. That's all I have.
And that is a good note, so I appreciate you bringing that up. And as another note, Manager Soltis wasn't gonna be there that night, and so you're right. We should have had him said it, so thank you for that clarification. Councilwoman Tafoya.
Well, I was gonna bring up the Libby Budenholzer, and I did bring a card. I just thought it would be nice as a council could sign this card to mail to them. I have an address that we can send, and if anybody wants to send their own personal card, then I have that address. If you want that, then you can send that as well. And her service will be on August 19th at 2 o'clock.
And where will that?
In Pine Top at the St. Mary's of the Angels Parish. There's not an address, but I'm sure you can Google that and it'll get you to the thing. But if you do want to send a personal card, I do have the address that you can get.
I appreciate that.
I pulled a ton of weeds in my alley the other day, and Sam Hollins came today and picked them up, and he did an excellent job. I mean, he didn't leave any scrap things behind. He got it all. He really did a good job. On the other hand, our city workers did work on 8th and Arizona, and they left so much debris from the project just thrown everywhere, and I think that it just disappoints me that they couldn't clean up that mess after they finished that job. And I went by there before I came to see, well, maybe they got it cleaned up, but it was still sitting there. So I just think that's something that needs to be addressed. When you start a job and you finish a job, you finish it by cleaning up the area that was done. And one more thing, sorry.
No, you're fine.
The Kiwanis, you know, the fair's coming up, and the Kiwanis does a lot for our community. And so right now they're looking for volunteers to work the ticket booths at the fair, September 13th through the 16th. And they have 3 booths that they have to cover, and they have to have 2 people in each booth to work that. So it's going to take a lot for that number of days. And they've split it out, and I think Wednesday night is the longest night, and it's from it's like 6 hours if you want to do a Wednesday night. That's opening night. And the other ones are like 4 hours. Each increment is 4 hours. So if anybody's interested, Robin does have a sign-up sheet with her tonight if you want to look at it and go ahead and sign up. And if not, then you can contact her at a later time, or Judy Jones Grugel is taking care of that as well. So I just think it would be nice that we gave something back to Kiwanis, because they do a lot for our community as well.
Perfect, thank you very much. Councilwoman Pacheco.
So I spoke with Michaela Saxton, and she wanted me to let you know. She said Saxton Projects had their night golf tournament. They're gearing up for the police first fire game to be announced at a later date. Saxton Projects would like to personally thank Michael Young and Steve Rutherford and the staff at Hidden Cove for helping them have such a successful night golf tournament. And I spoke with Liz Nichols recently about the mural and where that was at. So she had said she needed to get the approval of the business owners, and I was having a hard time contacting them. So I found out who it was, and I had a conversation with them, and it is for sale, and I wouldn't want the same thing to happen with the Plainsman. If a new owner came in and decided they didn't want the mural, I mean, when you own the building, you can do what you want with the building. I don't know if there's something maybe that can be done to save that, so that she can update that and repaint it. So, because I wouldn't want someone to buy the building and then
Where are you talking?
Paint over.
the building by across from the sheriff's office.
Gillespie Park.
Oh, where you park here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, we appreciate that.
Oh, also,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. Is there anything we can do to network, see where we can get some kind of daycare programs? I see we just lost the healthcare, but I know there's no daycare here, and it hurts the working parents and the workforce all across the entire town. I don't know
That's not
what's
NACOG,
available.
maybe. Yeah, we'll talk with Vice Mayor Nelson at the end and see if maybe NACOG has any resources.
Okay.
I know,
They have
not to
heads.
throw you, so, yeah, with the, but, all right.
And healthcare. So you mentioned that North Country is still open. Is Dr. Mesta still in practice or not at all?
I don't believe he is, but
So,
Oh,
he hasn't been for a while.
okay.
Unless he's come back, so.
Okay.
All right.
I was gonna mention one thing
Yes.
before, and that Florida and 8th Avenue is no longer a 3-way stop, but a 4-way stop. And I noticed our vigilant policemen were out there enforcing that. I think we all ought to be aware of that, because it's been that way for just a week or so, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, and maybe our manager can speak more of that, so. All right, and, all right,
That's all.
no, I appreciate that. And Manager Sullivan.
Yeah, okay, so, I was gonna respond last time on that heater. That pool heater is replacing a 1983 pool heater. So when I was thinking, that we had just replaced the heater, it was actually the shower heaters that we had replaced a couple of years ago. So I wanted to clarify that. There's, a new photo op at Gillespie Park by the windmill. We've already had, several tourists stop there and take pictures, and we just put it in this week. So that's pretty cool. We're making plans and coming up with ideas on putting in a pickleball court. Right now, it's gonna be over at Hump Park. I would like to try to get 2 in there, but I don't know if it's gonna work, so I've been trying to measure it out. I was also gonna mention the new 4-way on 8th and Florida. There are 2 other suggestions on Florida too that we're currently looking at. There's kind of a process involved with it. Chief has been sitting there watching cars. I think he's been doing that for 2 weeks. Started seeing some issues, and then we realized we did need to make a change. So if there are suggestions throughout town like that, bring them to us and we can work on them. They may not happen real fast and ready because we want to make sure we do our due diligence, and we don't want to mess up traffic either by putting something else in. But I think that one's been needed for some time, especially, which is funny because it's going uphill, but there's a lot of speeders going uphill because they just blow by that. So I think it is a safety concern, and hopefully that starts doing better. And with that too, I got some calls on some stop signs that were covered up with hanging trees and stuff like that. So we've been going around when I have a chance, and I've been cutting some of those trees to open those up. So if there's anything that you guys see like that in the public, come let me know, and we'll take care of them as soon as we can. To address the Sun Valley and CDBG, we are moving forward on that grant with CDBG on the north tank. We got a schedule from the builders now and a site plan. They're working on the geotech on the ground, and we should have that completed by the end of October and live. So there are some things that we're gonna do on our side that we need to order telemetry and all that stuff. So I'm gonna make all of that brand new. That way it's up and running and doing well. I'm also getting quotes right now for Sun Valley. Right now we only have 1 well out there, and it causes us some problems. So we have another well, but it's not producing the water volume that we need. But I've been working with a well driller, and he's got some ideas. So I'm coming up with some quotes I may bring to you guys next council meeting to move forward with that, to maybe get a second well out there. And then on another note of that, we're still working with ADQ on the water quality. They have identified what is causing a lot of the problems, and it's a natural mineral called manganese that's being pumped out of the well. And that manganese really reacts to chlorine, gives it a reddish color, that kind of stuff. So as soon as we're pumping it from our well and it sets in that first holding tank, it's reacting and creating those colors. So ADQ is coming up with some kind of a filtration system to try to target that. And once I get that, we'll be able to install that, and hopefully that water can keep on clean. And until then, I just ask that we try to flush as much as possible. If the community does see dirty water like that, then let us know and we can go out and flush. That's the only solution we have right now. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you.
I got a question for Andy, if I can. Mayor?
Go ahead, yes.
Randy, I got a question for you on the gentleman from Sun Valley. He brought the sample and he says that he thinks it's coming through the lines. And if I'm not mistaken, that water's coming out of the well just that color. It's not the lines that's doing it, it's the actual well depth that's out there, right?
No, it comes out of the well clean.
It does?
And when we test it in our boosters and everything, it's clean. So it's really the lines when it gets out there, and the manganese and all that stuff has time to react in the pipes, and then some of that will just settle out. So as soon as something turns on, it just gushes that kind of water out. So that's why I said the only thing we could do right now is flush, until we can balance out the manganese reaction with the chlorine.
Thank you. All right, item number 9, submission of written petition for items not on the agenda.
There are none.
There are none. Item number 10, adjournment. Do I have a motion? We have a motion, a second? All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Meeting's adjourned at 7:12 is what I have. All right, thank you, everybody. So, Karina, when you're done with that card, I was like, get it back, I skip it for now, cause I wanted to.
Yeah, we'll have to put something through.
The second, the manager, I put two.
We'll have to post the new rates too.
Who was that?
For the manager plan. Okay, I wasn't looking up. You did. I know.
No,
Cause
I need a,
wasn't looking
right.
I believe
Alright, I'll trade you.
I know.
Well, that's what they indicated at executive sessions, but I'm sure it's where he was getting that information. Right there. Well, it looks like my name kind of. Yeah, that's funny. I say take your time, but you're ready to go. Except Thursday nights are hard, Not that I enjoy it. There were my plans. Damn, that's really bad.
Randy, did you turn the camera off?
Oh, yeah. Right. Gotta get them clean still, Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Why? You want your cell phone?
No, I don't. Yeah, he might not.